So I just want to welcome another, guest into our podcast. This is what we do. We do Thrive and Talks, and we make videos about mental health and personal development. We're here to see people grow. We want to see people do what they want to do. And I understand that a lot of things that we undergo in regards to intrusive thoughts that come through our mind, self-sabotage, and we have other things that deter us from getting to where we need to be. But with positivity, with mental health, and some awareness in these conducive conversations, we're able to grow and get to where we want to be. So I want to just bring someone to the table, our discussion. We want to talk about yourself, introduce yourself.
Yeah, I can do that. My name's Amanda. I am an undergraduate student here at MIT. I'm entering my senior year. I'm going to get a degree in computer science and molecular bio. That's what I've been doing here. I do a lot of classes, do a lot of research. I guess I'm from Miami, Florida. So I come from that background. My family's Hispanic, Cuban and Puerto Rican. But yeah, that's all I got for now. I don't know if there's anything else you want to know.
You want to just talk about what made you come all the way down here? You know what I mean? You're from Florida.
I mean, it's a great school, pretty much. It was my favorite out of the ones that I applied to, and I got in early, so I figured I would just take it. Didn't want to apply to any other schools.
All right. Shout out. We here in Boston. We live in the flesh. You know what I mean? I'm happy that you're here. Mm-hmm. So we're going to dive into exploring a little bit about your journey, letting people know, you coming from Florida, as you just mentioned. Can you just kind of talk about, let's just dive right into it, like mental health. What does mental health mean to you?
Yeah, I've had, quite a journey with that kind of stuff, just because, I guess to get into, a good school like this, it's, it's rigorous, you gotta overachieve quite a lot. I think back in, say, high school, I was a little bit, I guess, depressed because I had to deal with going to high school during the COVID-19 pandemic, and it was kind of difficult socially because I would have to do classes from my home, just my bedroom for a year, and that was kind of a nightmare for me. And then even just here, obviously I go to my own classes, but it's hard, it's harder than you would have expected. So my own personal journey, coming from that context of the COVID-19 pandemic, one of my favorite things to do to get over myself is to just get off campus, to go away, mm-hmm. and do get up and do something, because mm-hmm. Sitting in your bedroom is just never not never a good idea. Obviously it's good to chill, but right. When you're feeling down, I think it's just best to go and get out somewhere.
To break that anxiety.
Yeah,
I really advise people too sometimes too, even if you don't have money to travel, to go to on a nice deserved vacation that you're trying to accomplish, but you don't have the funds, it's good to just maybe go a town away or something like that.
Go somewhere the beach or something.
Exactly, and it really helps you out. But we definitely have to take in consideration that solitude is good. Make sure that you're doing that reflective work to really know what's really going on with you. But you definitely, it's good to switch things up. Do you want to talk about your kind of schooling? How was schooling from you for previous years to you getting to where you're at, and how you had that resilience to be where you're at?
Yeah. I went to a pretty rigorous high school. A lot of people who come out of my high school say that it prepares you for some of the hardest of schools. So I came out of there and I was I've been through the worst of it. It can't get any harder. And then I got here and it did get harder because this is one of the best institutions in the world. I wouldn't. Yeah, it's just hard. So I think I went through a little journey towards the beginning of being here, where I was I wasn't expecting to be the best, but I wasn't expecting to struggle as much as I did. And then I got here and I took some really hard classes and I did struggle. And that's part of what I said before, where I was sometimes you got to sit down, you got to try your hardest, but then other times there's only so much you can do, and to improve your mood, go out, go to a cafe, go to a movie, I don't know, just get off campus and do mm-hmm. something.
Get yourself away out of
cause
thinking about what's in front of you type of thing.
Yeah, because sometimes obviously you got to study to do good, but sometimes there's such a thing as too much studying. If you just sit down for 12 hours a day and get really into the material, it can just kind of cloud your head and make you lose focus, and you just get too overwhelmed. So take breaks, I guess. Right. Is the takeaway.
Balance is really good, but I think that what you're just saying too is really good. And I was just about to ask you, is there any type of some suggestions that you were able to identify within yourself as you were able to navigate your journey with education? I mean, you went to a rigorous high school, as you mentioned. What are some skills or techniques that you had to cope as you navigated? You're giving us, make sure you're spending time to give yourself that pleasure, that enjoyment, right? Outside of your academic performance.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like tips for academics, I mean, learning how you learn is a really big one. So not a lot of people learn in the same way. I know there's like different, like there's like learning by doing, learning by hearing, learning by seeing. So like I guess understanding what works best for you,
right,
it helps. Because sometimes, like me personally, I'm not the best with like big lecture halls because I get very distracted, but I learn a lot by like listening. So sometimes I have to hear like lecture recordings over and over again until something sticks in my head. Or like specifically with programming, I have to learn by doing. So there's a lot of that. I've also learned that having like really close friends helps you out a lot.
Peer support?
Yeah, like having a support group is very helpful, and that seems like a very basic answer, but like it really is. Like when I'm like very in my head about like getting a bad grade or not being able to understand a concept, it's like my friends who are able to talk me down and be like, it's okay, like take a break, try again, etc., etc.
Right, because we all need that motivation. We all need that we all need that motivation. Sometimes that praise or that support around us could really help us, get us to a positive trajectory. But can you kind of think back to, obviously you're a rising senior or a current senior, right?
Yeah, gonna be a senior this semester, yeah.
Right, so rising senior coming into the fall, and we have about a couple weeks before school starts,
yeah.
Right? But can you think back to when you were a freshman and what that may have been like, and then how you were able to kind of transcend into being this individual? You're able to kind of be more fluent around campus, have your supports. How did you figure these things out?
Yeah, I think you really, like, kind of just need to put yourself out there. Like, MIT has, like, club fairs where you can, like, go and find clubs that are, like, like, that resonate with your interests, and then from there you can go and meet people. So just, like, and, like, it can be hard. Like, I know some people aren't necessarily extroverted. I'm not extroverted either, but just, like, putting yourself out there and, like, meeting people within your community, within your dorm, like, maybe even just, like, your next-door neighbor, your roommate, but just, like, finding friends like that. Like, that was probably the most important takeaway of my freshman year, because then, from then on is when it started getting harder, and that's when I had the friends and the community that I built around me to, like, actually support me when things got difficult.
Right. Okay. And then, personal in regards to your journey, how have, your struggles shaped you to the person that you are today?
I think, let me think about that. I guess it's most of my struggles maybe stem from being, like, Hispanic or, like, a woman in the field of science, just because a lot of people from my past, like, severely underestimated me. And I think that a lot of that like, people around me thinking that I wouldn't get into this school or that I wouldn't make it this far, I think that just kind of, like, really motivated me. I don't want to call it, like, spiteful, but I was just really, like, I want to prove them wrong. And that gave me a lot of the motivation to, like, get to where I am today, and to, like, when I'm dealing with something difficult, to, like, get over it rather than, like, becoming a victim of my problems. Stuff like that.
But how do you cope in that field when you're undergoing? Because I mentioned this as well. Like, you're in a male-dominated industry, right? Yeah. And I'm in mental health and education, so I'm in a female-dominated industry. So navigating through a lot of my courses, I'm seeing a lot of women, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a black male, so it's really different. Rare for me. Yeah, it's really different. So, how did you navigate?
I mean, if I'm being honest, it used to be really hard before college, but since coming to MIT, I would say that the population is actually pretty evenly split. I think they do a good job of promoting diversity in terms of majors. I guess I mentioned before that I'm, like, biology and computer science. The computer science side is mostly male, but I would argue that the biology side is a lot of women. So, it's very cool to, like, find people who are just like me and who have also dealt with similar struggles, but we're also not necessarily dealing with them right here, because since coming to MIT, I would argue that I've experienced a lot less sexism than I have in the past.